What's going on, Wolfpack? It's Aqua here, bringing you guys another video today, and this one I'm kind of excited for. I'm gonna make this video on Town Hall 8 War Base building, and basically I'm gonna go over the elements that you want to have in your base to try to be anti-3-starable at Town Hall 8 to be able to defend against Dragoon, Hogs, and Go Wipe, which are mostly what you're going to get attacked by. But as you see, I am Town Hall 8 max, except for those 3 walls. And I'm going to be at Town Hall 9 in 9 days, and I just made this war base that I'm currently using in this war, and I'm really upset that I don't get to use it. And I would really appreciate if somebody would pick it up, because I'm not going to be able to use it at Town Hall 9, and I really think it's a great base. I think somebody will have a lot of success with it. And the reason I'm really making this video as well is because I've seen some of our Town Hall 8s that have bases that might defend well against a certain attack, but not so well against others. Like maybe a base that's really compact and defends well against Go Wipe, but has absolutely no spots in the middle for giant bombs, and people just hog the crap out of it. They make it way too easy. So I wanted to make this video on base building pointers, and I've posted some photos of good bases that aren't mainstream on the Facebook page, which is COC Wolfpack-Woody. So if you guys haven't joined that page, you should, because I post on there. It's a good means of communication for us. So yeah. Anyway, we're gonna get into it, and I'm gonna show you guys a war base that I just made about a week ago, and why I think it's a great war base and it meets all the criteria for being anti-3-starable. Okay. One of the first things that I want to go over is one of the first things that's important is having a centralized clan castle and a centralized barbarian king. This clan castle is pretty centralized. I mean, it's not. It makes it so that you pretty much have to use hogs the lure if you're going the lure. At the bottom here, you might be able to put a giant by this archer tower, but that's something you can kind of. I might be able to put a skelly trap down there, move one down there, but there's a lot of point defense down there too. So you still might have to come 2 or 3 giants, which is basically the point. You just don't want it to be able to be lured by like a barb. That's really annoying. As well as having the king centralized is another important thing, because maybe he doesn't have to be right in the core, but you don't want him on the outside ring of your base, because if you're getting hogged, any good hogger is going to see that your king's exposed and probably is going to do a king swap, drop their king to take out your king, because a king can actually be effective in a hog raid when there's not that many hogs left for cleanup, and he's chasing them around and maybe kills 4, 5, 6, 7 of them while they're working on high HP buildings. It can be a huge factor in your defense. So I would definitely try to centralize your king, keep that incorporated in it. Keep in mind, as I'm saying these things, I'm trying to get you to do all of these things, incorporate all of these things in your base, and that's why I really like this base, because it's really hard to find or make a base that it incorporates all the elements of being anti-3-starable, and I think this one does a really good job. Okay, so we're going to go on from there to talk about being anti-Dragoon, anti-Hog, and anti-Go Wipe. To be anti-Dragoon, basically you want non-centralized air defenses, meaning they're not all in the core, they're in different compartments, but they're not too far away, they're not too close to the side, where you could just send a couple of loons to hit one defense and then go to the air defense, or get right to the air defense. That's not good. That's no good. But as you can see, these are pretty spread out, as well as you want collectors, high HP buildings, to protect them. As you see in this one, you've got this elixir storage and this gold storage and this dark elixir. You've got the gold and elixir storage on the bottom for this one, and on the top you've got a golden elixir storage up here. So those are basically the 2 things to make it anti-Dragoonable. There is a way that I think that you could Dragoon this base, and we'll get to that later, but that's why I've used my traps to make it so that you wouldn't be able to hit it that way. So secondly, to be able to be an anti-hog base, you want to have more than one double giant bomb or possible double giant bomb location, and you want to have a set of double giant bombs. Having a set of double giant bombs, any good hogger will realize that, and they won't be able to path their hogs all in one big group. And that makes it so that they have to surgical hog, which is still not a very easy thing, and that's about the best way you can defend against it. Just having those locations and having a double giant bomb set, preferably one that will trigger both giant bombs at one time. This double set, it's really hard to have a set that is going to trigger both bombs at the same time. I mean, if he comes and sends all his hogs in, like say from the top, and goes in a counterclockwise motion, and they end up going from this mortar, this whiz tower, this archer tower, and they jump in here, then they'll trigger them both at the same time. It's hard to make that a sure thing, but still having the presence of those double giant bombs in those locations kind of it makes a hog attacker go, oh, you can't really hog it unless you send in golems to get in these compartments, which is a go-ho. And a lot of people won't do that, so that's a good thing. The only other thing for an anti-hog, which is actually more important than people think, is having good spring traps. Especially when people try to send all their hogs in one group, I have come to see that having good spring trap location can really screw your hog raid. I mean, I've had such great pathing on a hog raid before, and I think it was probably about 5 wars ago, I hit every single spring trap, and I lost 3 hogs to every single spring trap, and I lost 18 hogs, and I still got all the defenses down, but only had like 3 or 4 hogs left over, and that's how effective they could be. Had he not had those spring traps in the right places, I would have probably not even lost a hog. I mean, it was ridiculous, but I lost 18 hogs. So you can see the spring traps I have right between both of these defenses here. So if they path them in a group, they're going to hit these spring traps. They're probably going to hit every single spring trap, and those that is much more effective than you might think. So those 2 things definitely help your base be anti-hog. And third of all, anti-go wipe. And this is honestly the hardest one to defend against, because go wipe is it's a strong attack. I will not deny that go wipe is a very strong attack, but it is not a 3-star strategy unless you're bringing back-end hogs or back-end loons, or it's really not. You really can't plan and see where all of your troops are going to go and be like, oh, my golem's going to go one on this side, one on this side, and they're going to go this defense, this defense, this defense, this. You can't. That's why I don't like go wipe. It's not it's not a controlled attack. You pretty much just drop your troops, you put your wall breakers in, you rage, you try to time your wall breakers. That's about the only part of it, and you just hope that it works out. So to be anti-go wipe, you want to have a considerable amount of compartments in your base. And as you see, this one has a pretty good number of compartments. I've not been able to make an anti-hog and anti-dragoon base that has this many compartments, so I think this one will do very well against go wipe. And if you really think about it, I think people are going to go wipe from like up here on the top left, because the town hall's over this way. So I set my Teslas so they're back more. None of them are in the way of that. And that way, after the raid kind of peters out and their golems are dying as they get to the end, these Teslas can pick off the P.E.K.K.A.s, and they'll run in these double giant bombs here. They'll lose all their whiz, and the raid will peter out. As well as you see that I have a lot of point defense on the side. Like 1, 2, 3, we'll include the Tesla 4 over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this side, this cannon, this Tesla on the back. All my point defense are around the sides. And that really helps a go wipe attack from that direction. Really got to think that kind of stuff through. Besides that, the only thing that can really help against go wipe is having max walls, level 8 walls. I mean, the more health you have, the longer it takes to get through them. You can see I put a couple of little bombs here in hopes that when they put their wall breakers through that first wall, maybe these bombs will take the second set coming out to the second wall. That's about all you can do, is try to strategically place those traps. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna back out of here, and that's the stuff I want you guys to think of. I really want to try to challenge you, Town Hall 8s, if any of you guys really care, to make a base and show it to everybody. Show it to good attackers, show it to good Town Hall 8s, and ask them how would you attack this base? Because That's how you have to look at it. Keep asking yourself how you would attack it, and if you if you get to the point where you really don't think you can 3-star the base, it's great. So I'm just gonna back out of here, and I'm gonna go to the same base, but I removed all the traps, and I'll have you guys look at it, and you can just tell me how you would try to attack it. Comment on the video how you would try to attack it. What do you think that could be better? Like, you guys could try to help me out, give me pointers, but yeah. I think that one's pretty much gonna wrap up this video. I'm gonna come later today. I might do a war recap. And I was kind of hesitant on doing war recaps just because, I mean, nobody else is really going to see it but us. But we did have some good attacks, some good shattered hybrid attacks this war, and I was really, it was awesome. It was a good thing. So I guess I'll leave that there, guys, and I'll see you back over at Wolfpack.